name is Ron Eslinger, and I will be your instructor for the hypnosis certification course. What I want to go over now is a breathing technique that is usually one of the first things I do with a client, and that breathing technique is extremely important. I'm going to walk her through it and then make some comments to you about it, and we will spend a lot of time discussing this when you come to class, because it's probably the most important thing you're going to do, and it's going to end up being the induction also once you start getting established. All right, you've done this before, so what I would like you to do, though, for demonstration for everybody else, is take your non-dominant hand and place it on your abdomen. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you, and you can use counts 3, 6, 3, 3, and 6, or 4, 4, and 8. The key here is that they're going to breathe in half as long as they breathe out, and they're going to hold their breath for the same amount of time that they breathe in. So you can do that with any count, 3, 3, and 6, 4, 4, and 8, 5, 5, and 10. It doesn't really matter. But she's going to use her hand as a kind of a biofeedback, because rather than saying blow something up in your stomach, not a very positive term, I'm just going to ask her to gently. So if you don't mind gently now, just going ahead and using your stomach to push out your hand. Very good. Now the next time we do this, we're going to have you use your stomach to push out your hand. Do that on about a count of 3, and then hold it for a count of 3. So go ahead and do that again. And 1, 2, 3, and now let it out. Now this time when you do that, take your dominant hand and squeeze your thumb and finger together as you push your non-dominant hand out. And you can just rest it there comfortably. So it's squeeze and push, hold, 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 and then open. All right. And the reason we're doing this is we're creating an anchor, a trigger, so that anytime as she learns to do this, she'll get an automatic response, in the same way that when you see a traffic light turn red, you automatically take your foot off the gas, put it on the brake. Well, this is going to start the stimulation of relaxation. Now, this time we're going to go through the full thing. So you're going to squeeze your thumb and finger together, push out your non-dominant hand, hold it, hold it, hold it, and then let it out with a little whish sound, a little shh, as you open up. So now we're going to create an auditory anchor, so every time she breathes out, she's going to hear. So auditory plus, she can also feel it, and then another kinesthetic anchor is the finger. So it's going to be like this. Hold, 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 and out. Now, you see me demonstrate it, so you go through the whole thing now. Very, very good. Perfect. And you've practiced this before, and you're already using it for self-hypnosis, so that's great. Now, a couple of things are happening. When she's holding her breath, that's giving us a really good gas exchange. So more CO2 is coming out, more oxygen is going to go in, and at that point what's going to happen is you're going to give it time for the oxygen and the CO2 together, and then when she breathes out, the CO2 is coming out, the oxygen's already gone into the lungs. So this is going to be a good gas exchange to decrease stress. And so that makes this extremely important. But the other thing that happens is when she pushes out her hand, she's actually dropping the diaphragm. You didn't even have to think about breathing, did you? You automatically breathed in when you pushed your hand out, right? Yeah, good. So what happens is you create that vacuum, the diaphragm drops, but that opens up the 2 lower lobes of the lungs. Now you probably already know that the 2 lower lobes, which are dependent, also have more air sacs alveoli and more blood vessels, which means a lot more oxygen now is going to get out into the tissues, into the cells themselves. That in itself is much more relaxing and comforting. The second thing that happens is when that diaphragm drops, it actually tugs on the vagus nerve. So it's activating the vagus nerve to stimulate the release of endorphins, melatonins, and serotonins. Now, I know you know this, but endorphins are your morphine-type substances, and then melatonin are your Ambien or your sleep aids, and serotonin, of course, your Prozac or your mood elevators. But all of those also have 2 other names. One is they are your anti-stress hormones, but they're also called the pain-killing hormones. So now, in this simple breath, you've stimulated endorphins, melatonin, and serotonin, which is also going to take them into the hypnotic state. You've gotten more oxygen out into the cells, which is relaxing and healing. So this, once you teach your clients to do this, truly does become a very quick induction. Thank you. Bye-bye.